so much stuff floating around. I don't know. People trying to say they wasn't together.
Basically was trying to get into a threesome. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another experience known as Kay and Manny. I'm the one they call Manny. She is the lady of all K's. And we have a return special guest here, Tom. Welcome back. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good, Manny. Thank you for having me back. And hi, Kalima. Thank you both. It's a pleasure to be back, especially, how you invited me to talk on a topic that is definitely going on in our nation today. So I'm ready to go.
And before we go, I just want to say good morning to everybody. It is 11 a.m. and you are here with us today. So we appreciate it. And we have a really sensitive and hot topic today that we're going to be discussing. All right, Manny, it's all yours now.
All right. And we're going to talk about a few things that the tea is going to be boiling hot on this one, but that's okay. I've been burned before and I've been scalded before. And so I just want to make this clear before we take off. We're not politicians. We're not political experts. We're not newscasters. All we do is tell the truth, and we tell what has been documented. Now, we may throw an opinion here and there, but to all you people who want to cancel everybody, and trust me, I see you cancel culture folks out there. Just know we're coming with facts. We're not coming with narratives, unlike some people has done in the past, but we're going to come with it. So what are I talking about? We're going to talk about the past administration versus the administration that's happened now, meaning the godforsaken, swamp draining cesspool of a administration known as the Trump administration. So guys, we're going to keep this. Let's start with the easy stuff, easy questions. What did you like about the past administration?
Is that an easy question or is that a trick question?
Hold on. I got to think.
It's a short question because, it's a short question.
Yeah, well, the only thing that I liked about the last administration, we were still acting civilized as human beings on the transformation of power from one to another from Obama. That probably, was much civilized then. It was afterwards when things took off that it wasn't so pleasing. Correct.
I totally agree with you on that because, well, Lady K, I can bounce all over the place, but I'm trying not to do that. Lady K, what did you like about it?
I'm still trying to think what I liked about the Trump administration. I'm just being so honest with you. The only thing that I like is that, when COVID did shut down, the citizens got a stimulus package.
Okay. That's a valid answer.
And you see that now it took 4 years. She came up with the stimulus package, and because that was probably $1,200. But the thing was, before all of that, he wasn't giving up a dime unless it was for the rich people.
I can't say nothing now. Yes, I do know, and we do have to look at it at all levels. I do know he did give the big businesses breaks. I'm not going to talk about exactly what he was doing in his particular businesses, but you got to understand the business world, how sometimes that tax credit does help the businesses so it can trickle down to the employees. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because you have to take hindsight of what it means to be in a CEO position and when things are shifting and what to do. So I'm just going to say that part. He didn't really do nothing for the people that's middle class and lower class. It was pretty much, and that's why I tell people all the time, please don't get offended. Yes, it was great that they administer a check to you guys, but that just tells you right there, you cannot depend on the government. So you have to put yourself in a position, what am I going to do better for myself? Because they are simply showing us they don't care about us. and you fend for yourself.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm so heavy-hearted when on my day job, when I speak to people, what is your backup plan? Because the government is not your backup plan.
Right. And I think my
No,
answer is this. If the people show you who they are, believe them.
Hello.
So,
oh yeah. Right now, today, that's what has taken place. Matter of fact, 2020 was the year of transparency. It showed us who everybody was. It showed you who was your friend. It showed you who wasn't your friend. It showed you what was going on with the government. It showed you racism, racial hate, discrimination, and no equal justice. That's what 2020 brought. It showed that it was whites against blacks. Bottom line.
Right.
I mean, you can do more than just whites and blacks. You can do poor, rich, disenfranchised, well-off, have-nots. But let me kind of piggyback on what you said, Tom. I've been seeing that ever since, when the Republican Party was doing their campaigning. And if y'all remember back in 2015, there were 9 Republican candidates trying to get into office. I mean, you could go as far as Ted Cruz, Ricky Rubio. I mean, the list goes on and on. Herman Cain. And then you got the asshole of assholes, Donald Trump. So it's just like, it's like the Republican Party was like desperate to get in. They're willing to put anybody with any type of credentials in there. But let me just kind of slow walk this dog a little bit. Now that we finally figured out what we did like about the administration, what we did not like about the administration, and we're gonna keep it a one answer probe because I'm gonna be real with you. We're gonna talk about all the nonsense that happened between 2016 to now. All right. So name one, just one thing you did not like about the administration.
Tom, you can go first.
It was racist. It was racist. Okay. Bottom line, that administration was racist.
Okay. I agree with you because I can agree with you on that one because there was a lot of divide. It was a lot of division, meaning that not just racist, it's just people who you were forced to pick a side. You was forced to pick a side on, did you stand with him or did you not stand with him? And the reason why I say that is because I'll be honest with you. My parents, and I'm not going to give their exact location, they live in a city in Texas where it's predominantly Trump supporters. And the reason why I say that is because at one point I was helping my mom deliver some mail. As I was coming out of the post office, I saw this truck, like it was a flatbed truck, and it had literally 2 Trump Pence 2020 signed flags that were probably big as hell flying behind this truck. So what does that tell you? And let me also be clear. When I go into their neighborhood, you will literally see the Trump Pence signs mixed in with the Biden-Harris signs. So every person was like scattered out with who their allegiance were. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like
I got you.
Right. And it was just one of those things where I just saw how divided we were as a country. And then on top of that, and one thing I hate about the administration is it literally exposed all the BS that happened between 2016 and 2020. I mean, it literally.
Yeah, but didn't it what you've already stated was it was totally one-sided. And one, it was about Trump, and it wasn't about America. You know, probably one of the most frightening things I seen one day, I was going to the store, and on the side of the road were some adults holding up Trump flags, but that wasn't so frightening. What was frightening was they had their little sons and daughters standing out there with them, dressed, holding up the Trump flags. I thought that was frightening. I was afraid to park my car and go in the store. You know, the store owner was like, Yo, I know they're out in front. I'm like, they got the little kids out here because they are training them.
Yes.
They're letting them know this is the way you should go. This is crazy with what's going on. And the same thing that you're talking about, Manny, has been probably across this nation with big, giant blue signs, things of that nature. You know, even during the Black Lives Matter movement in New Hampshire, what had disturbed that peaceful protest, which they don't want to talk about, was a pickup truck, a big pickup truck that ran into the middle of the protest with a big blue sign saying Donald Trump 2020. And they started the commotion. But you won't hear them talk about that because they want to show that the African Americans are uncivilized.
Which we will tackle that topic in just a moment. Don't you
I'm
worry.
sorry. I didn't mean to get ahead of myself.
Don't you worry. We will get there. Okay.
I would like to jump in, and this pretty much piggyback on what you guys were both saying. Tom, you said racism. Manny, you said division. To me, when he was using the slogan, when he was running to make America great again, that's exactly what it was creating right there, the racism and the division. But to me, it just took me back, over 300 years ago when, the enslavement. And it's like, okay, we got Obama out. Let's make America white again, because unless, erase everything that he did so we can make it back how we want it. So it just constantly show us that they do not care about us, but they want to keep us in bondage. And that right there, that just speaks so much volume. It's a shame that we're still here, but they will still try to revise it and do what you want to call quote unquote modern day slavery, because they can't go back into the 1600s. So it's like they still find different ways to keep us down. And I know I'm jumping too far, but it's so sad how under his administration, how many Black men were murdered and no one was held accountable. That right there, I'm gonna stop right there because I myself.
You know what, Kalima? You're right, Manny. Hold on one second, because I have to piggyback on what she said, because it was so true. And what is apparent here, and only very few people are saying this. What all of this stuff that's going on is really about? It's about the white race feeling, not all of them, but most of them feeling that they're about to be extinct. That diversity and other walks of life or people of color is going to outnumber them, and that they are going to be in the background. They become the minority, which is unfortunate, a dumb way of thinking, because America is a nation of immigrants, always has been. They don't recognize that. They feel that the white race is superior, and they don't want to lose that place.
Right. And you said it best. This country was built on immigrants. Right. I mean, let's be real. I mean, you had everyone from all walks of life, Italian, Irishmen. You even had Haitians built the city of Miami, which a lot of people don't know about. I mean, you even had the French coming through Louisiana, which a lot of people don't know about. I mean, you have Asians coming through California and Seattle. A lot of people don't know these things because they don't do the research, or they feel like that's not important. But let's back up a little bit.
But can I say this real quick? But it's a different story when you was brought here unwillingly.
Correct.
That part right there, that separates us from the other immigrants. They came here because they did say, quote unquote, this is the land of opportunity. A better life. And guess what?
Absolutely.
This is the land of opportunity based on how you see it, because a lot of them, when they come here, they look at the money, because the United States of America is a business. So you come here for business opportunity, money opportunities. But guess what? Most of those immigrants, when they do come here, they make their money here and they go back home because they see what's going on. They see what's going on here. They see, and they're not stupid, but they come here for the coins.
All right, right. But
yes, they do. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go now into I mean, let's be honest. This administration was what it was, a cesspool. I mean, it's hard to describe without using, as my grandfather would say, Sunday school words. I mean, I'll go ahead and be the first person to say, I mean, this whole administration was a train wreck and a shit show. But saying that will be a disregard and a travesty to trades in. Agreed or disagree?
I agree, because you can't. I mean, as low as you want to go on this past administration, that's how low it is. It's stooped so low to call people out of their names, disrespect people, disrespect other countries, disrespect their own United States political affiliates. Okay, I have never witnessed any of that when you talk about your own people, your own states, and then come to divide them to say it ain't the United States no more. It's the red states against the blue states. That's the vision right there. You know, and you can't turn around. You cannot turn around and tell me that once you start labeling things, and that's how all of this racism has came apart, is classifications. You classify me as one thing, and I classify somebody else as another thing. And then if you look at Boys in the Hood, people will look at that movie and say, that's how black people act. So the media may have a little something to do with that too.
Oh, of course.
Of
course.
Now, I have a question for you gentlemen, right? I have a question for you. I'm going to start with you first, Tom, right? So the whole time while 45 was in office, right, you know, they allowed him to come on multiple social media platforms and say what he want to say. Why do you think towards the end, when it was time for him to get out the chair, why do you think all decide all of a sudden to mute him?
That's easy. That's an easy answer.
That's an easy question. The insurrection at the government, the 5 people dead. Now they could turn around and say his words done harm to American people, to a police officer. Now they had to turn around and say either they're going to be for what he's been saying, or because of that incident, which is tragic as it can be, because they were trying to assassinate government officials. And nobody wanted to be in support of a government or a president that was going to incite an incident like that, and know that he stood in the White House and sat there and watched it happening and didn't pick up a phone to make it stop. So nobody wants to be a part of or support a bully who has caused bodily harm, physical harm, and death to other people. Who wants to be a supporter of that? So social media closed down. Some of his supporters closed down, but see, he still has some supporters because they are afraid the people that support him, if they don't continue to support him, they're going to lose their vote.
Right.
But social media said they're not going to be part of it. And a lot of corporations also stopped giving him money because of that.
I'll take it a step further. Let's be honest. A lot of these social media, I mean, how crazy can you be when you have not only multiple social media platforms on top of other quote unquote social media? I mean, you got banned from Pinterest.
Right.
How crazy can you act when you get banned from Pinterest?
Right. And Pinterest is the most common social media platform ever.
Right. But I digress.
Yeah.
When you but let's be honest. It's more than just social media like disowning him. It's other companies like Deutsche Bank, like the city of New York, like other platforms or other businesses are turning away. Because here's the thing. if they even resemble anything close to Trump, because now Trump has single-handedly branded his administration as his bully campaign. So with that being said, and with that being shown, if they even somewhat support him, people are going to see that as, oh, I don't want to do business with them. So as a business decision, yeah, they will turn their backs on him. But that's more on a business. I think some businesses are more on a business decision versus a moral decision. Now, the social media platforms, moral decision. Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, all those places, let's be real, business decisions.
Well,
that's why I
remember,
Uh-huh.
remember, most of those corporations you're talking about, JP Morgan and Chase and all of them, they have a board of directors, okay? Right. And those board of directors are the ones that make that decision. They're the ones that are bringing in the money. They have shares. They got people that own companies, and all of them may have been with Trump, but after this episode, again, they don't want to be affiliated with someone that causes destruction, especially to America. And a lot of these corporations have overseas ties as well. How much do these overseas ties support the president of the United States that we have? They could have got phone calls from them saying, look, we're about to pull the plug. And they turn around and say, oh, you don't have to worry about it. We're going to pull the plug. Correct. You see what I'm saying? Right. So we don't know what went in the background with these big countries. But you're talking about JP Morgan, you talk about Chase, you talk about a lot of these Wall Street companies that have all these monies. They do work and shop around the world and deal with a lot of other countries. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of those countries don't like Trump.
Well, they don't like Trump because, simply put, he has bashed them. I mean, he bashed Muslims. He bashed Hispanics. He bashed the country of China, the whole country of China. When you talk about how, we'll go ahead and segue to this, how COVID-19 came to America. I mean, if you hear him say a lot of these derogatory sayings, such as the China virus or Kung flu or whatever, and then once he caught it, allegedly, he called it coronavirus or COVID-19. And that's when the whole the vaccine campaign came out. After he got it, a lot of those other members of the cabinet getting it. I mean, let's be real. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you.
And you're right. How would you feel if I turned around and called your country a shithole country?
Right. And that's basically what he did.
Come on now.
We would be fighting.
Don't forget about Mexico, guys. Remember about Mexico? Remember they were supposed to pay for the wall? What happened to that?
Yep.
And you know how big this
was?
Wait. Hold on. Since I live in Texas,
go ahead.
Seen this. You know how long that wall is?
How long?
How long?
Take a guess.
2 feet.
10 miles?
A mile.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Wow.
It's there.
Now I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. I was recruited by the University of Texas, El Paso. I went to El Paso. There was a tunnel. I mean, an actual tunnel. Yeah, an actual tunnel that was built that you can walk from El Paso
to Juarez
into Mexico.
Juarez, Mexico.
Right, to Juarez. Correct. Right. That's where I went. That had to be the most poorest country that I ever seen in my life. I turned around and said, when I got to the border and I seen kids there trying to take me and army personnel to their homes, to either their sister, their mothers, or what have you. And I said, if anybody in the United States that is on welfare, that wants to complain, something's wrong. Because the way those people were living when I was there, it hurt so bad to see them sleeping in the streets.
Wow. Right.
And here we are in a land of opportunity.
What is? And they were telling me stories about that.
Well, didn't you? Oh man, it's definitely. And then here it is. Why would you not want to come to America?
Right.
Why would you not want to have a bed, a roof over your head, where you can sleep peacefully at night? Why wouldn't you? And then being that I was dragged here, I welcome you to come here because it's a better life or supposed to be a better life. But like Kalima said, and I know this to be true, a lot of them come here, they go to school here, they go to college, they become professionals, they start making that dollar, they're sending that money home. And after a few years, they go back home and they start building their own business with the American dollar. That's what they do.
And that's always been
Yeah.
that's always been the trick with immigrants. That's always been the trick.
Yeah.
But also, let's segue into not only with the Black Lives Matter movement, but also let's talk about how Trump basically alienated Colin Kaepernick and anybody that kneeled through the protests and during the NFL. And let's also be real. Let's also be real. A lot of those people who did kneel, players who did kneel, end up losing their jobs or being alienated away from the NFL. And then here's the tipping point. When George Floyd and others were killed in the name of making America great again, let's just say, the NFL now acknowledged that Black lives do matter and they admit they were wrong. Now, I'm going to be real. I'm going to call bullshit. And the reason why I say that is because why didn't you say that when Colin Kaepernick was suing y'all for coercion? Why is it that when all these other NFL players who were kneeling and protest end up losing their jobs? I mean, let's be real. One of my favorite team, unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys, the owner Jerry Jones said, if you kneel during the protest, you will be cut. He said that in his own words. So what do you say about all those other players that lost their jobs and cannot, and I mean cannot, feed their family because they wanted to protest against police brutality?
Lady K.